Hello fellow mutants, welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to talk about Tales of the Jedi. And Tales of the Jedi kind of centers around Ahsoka and Count Dooku. Well, Dooku before he was a Sith Lord. And I'll do two bits. First I'll center around Ahsoka, then I'll center around Dooku, then I'll tell you guys how I feel with the series as a whole. So I really do enjoy what they did with Ahsoka in terms of the first episode, it was just showing her as a baby, getting born, and her being first sensitive. Then her second episode was her getting taught by Anakin using the 501st Rex Battalion to stand her own against multiple enemies. And that episode, I feel like, is my favorite episode, because it showed us her getting trained to essentially be a formidable opponent that we saw in essentially Clone Wars Season 7 and Rebels. And I'm guessing whatever we're going to get this in Mandalorian. So I thought that was cool. And I really did enjoy that we got Ashley Eckstein back. That was great. It was like, even though I have been enjoying Rosario Dawson's portrayal as Ahsoka, Ashley Eckstein is like a classic when it comes to Ahsoka, because Ashley Eckstein is the first Ahsoka. She voiced Ahsoka. Live action Ahsoka didn't come until about 10, 11, 12 years after Ahsoka's first debut. So Rosario Dawson's a pretty good Ahsoka, but I just enjoyed hearing Ashley Eckstein's voice throughout the series. And even in her last episode, when it took place after the events of Revenge of the Sith, that was cool, because I'm not going to go into deep dive into the episodes, because I'm planning to do that, take each episode and do a deep dive within itself. So this is going to be somewhat vaguish review, but I did enjoy in episode 6 how Ahsoka was there at Padme's funeral, and Bail essentially helped her escape, saying, if you ever need to use this communicator, I will be here. And essentially we see a little bit of what Ahsoka did shortly after the events of Revenge of the Sith, and she's using Osla, which, if memory serves him right, Osla was the name of the Force at one point. And I said, okay, that was cool, that was good. If I remember right, that was a pretty cool point. And essentially something happens because she's at this farm. Someone realizes that she's a Jedi because something happens where she uses the Force to save someone, and someone else saw too. And so the Inquisitors came, and one good Inquisitor came, bring down the area, keeping the guy who called essentially the Inquisitor and another former as captives. Ahsoka comes in, beats the Inquisitor, and a good thing to mention is that Ahsoka did not have her lightsabers. She only had her acrobatics, essentially, and the Force. That was cool. So, and she killed the Inquisitor with his own lightsaber, so that was pretty cool. And I've heard that she essentially takes the crystals in this Inquisitor's lightsaber and purifies them to be the white lightsabers that we've seen her use in The Mandalorian and Ahsoka in Rebels. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. And then with the Count Dooku's side, we see that he's a Jedi, and his stories, his side is just getting foreshadowed to be a Sith, that he's going to turn to the dark side. Because we have on the first episode, Dooku and a young Qui-Gon Jinn going to this planet that this corrupt senator let the people there starve. And the second episode we saw was with him, Dooku, and Windu, and another corrupt senator, like another bad situation that we saw Dooku, that hints of Dooku becoming a Jedi. And we also get the hint that Dooku, like we see the scene with Dooku and Qui-Gon talking, Qui-Gon having the same appearance he had in A Phantom Menace. So like, kind of like with Ahsoka's side, this somewhat takes place in the prequel era. For Dooku's story, it takes place like we start out before this prequel era, go into the prequel era. With Ahsoka, we go into like the prequel era, like in the Clone Wars, but we come out towards like after the Order 66. I really like how they did that. I think that was one of the best plays. But or at least a play I liked. Kind of like flirted with the Clone Wars show / movie, and flirted with the movies, but not really using the movies or the Clone Wars heavily per se, if that makes sense. Just foreshadowing some stuff that has already happened. And we see that Qui-Gon, before I move on, I really like how they had Qui-Gon Jinn, I believe was voiced by Liam Neeson in the last episode with Dooku. I thought that was so cool. I was like, oh, what are you guys doing to me? This is cool. And so, essentially, we get a time jump in this episode. It's after Darth Maul killed Qui-Gon, and Dooku's kind of depressed about it, so he essentially goes to Sidious saying, "You've gone too far. Qui-Gon Jinn, my apprentice, died." And Sidious said, "I lost an apprentice too. No biggie. It serves the bigger goal. Get over it." And then Yaddle comes in, and they have a fight, and Dooku essentially kills her, furthering his pull to the dark side even more. And before this, we saw Dooku delete Kamino of the Jedi Banks using Sifo Dyas' code. And so I thought that was pretty interesting. Like, did I need to see that? No, because I liked that. Because I knew Dooku wasn't involved in deleting Kamino, but I enjoyed at least that part being left to my imagination. So even though I did dig seeing that bit, I also would have been okay with that not seeing that. That's just me. I'm kind of like split on this one. But Tales of the Jedi, really good show. 6 episodes, really short. That don't even go to like 20 minutes. I think the longest, if you count credits, is like 19 minutes. But like I said, that's like longest. And Tales of the Jedi is a really good show. Should it get a second season? Maybe. should, like Star Wars Theory mentioned in one of his recent videos, should they have a sequel show called Tales of the Sith, exploring the Sith Lords? Maybe. I mean, I want to be opposed to that with how good this show was. I want to be opposed to them making a Tales of the Sith show. Really enjoyed it. If you guys really love like the George Lucas era Star Wars and really enjoyed Clone Wars, Rebels, then you guys will enjoy this show. And yeah, it probably has some, like, I think it has like one country dictory in this show. And as I'm gonna rewatch the episode so I can do like an episode by episode recap for you guys. This is an overview. But yeah, I think they have a retcon in here once. I could be wrong. Which is why I'm gonna rewatch each episode by episode. But I enjoy this. I actually enjoy Tales of the Jedi more than I thought I would be. And so this is my first essential review of like a mini series. So after this, you guys can expect 6 more videos, me reviewing each episode. This is 6. With that said, what do you guys think about this episode? Let me know in the comment section down below. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another, and I'll talk to you guys later. May the Force be with us all.